Hi everyone, my name is Anuj Jindal. I welcome you to my channel. Today we want to talk about bank NPAs. We all know that they have been declining, but why have they been declining? This is something that was revealed recently in the financial stability report released by RBI. I will try to simplify the reasons behind bank NPAs, but I want to start with a caution for all the bankers out there. This video is relevant for both bankers as well as non-bankers. For bankers to understand the reasoning behind the falling NPAs and how can they and what can they do to make sure that they don't get stuck in any NPA as a banker, as an officer in the future. For non-bankers, a very academic understanding of the reasons behind falling NPAs and who should be uh, congratulated for this fall. I want to start with this line. If you owe the bank rupees 100, it's your problem. But if you owe the bank rupees 100 crore, it's the bank's problem. This is the reality of Indian as well as global banking system. If you owe it too less, then the onus is on you. But if you owe it too much, then the bank gets stuck. And this is one of the major reasons behind rising NPAs of banks in the past as well. We will try and understand this in the future as well. You can watch the video at 1.5x to be able to save your time and understand everything faster. Let's first of all start with lessons for bankers. Number one, GNPAs, gross non-performing assets, are cyclical in nature. They were very high in 2011, have been falling since, rose a little in between in 2016-17, but now they are at an all-time low. This doesn't mean that they will remain low for time immemorial. They will rise, and we need to have this in mind while signing off any new loan as a banker. They go down and then they go up again. Approve loans as a banker only after following the due process. It's very important. Be thorough with the gross NPA ratio of your branch. As a banker, I would recommend and I would request all of you to go through your branch fundamentals to understand its financials and especially to see what is the GNPA ratio of your branch if you're able to find it out. If it is high, focus on recovery and reduce fresh loans that have the potential of default. If you cannot be involved in recovery, it's okay. If your job is to give out fresh loans and sign them off, make sure that you're taking due care because you might get stuck in the future when the NPAs rise. Do not issue any loan under pressure of seniors or influential people. If there is pressure, in fact, this means something is wrong or might be wrong. Therefore, keep it in mind that you're not doing anything, especially signing on any paper and issuing any fresh loan under any kind of pressure. Just because the present times are very rosy and the NPA ratios are down doesn't mean that you start giving out fresh loans without any uh, due process or without thinking too much, because this is the major reason behind cyclicity of NPAs. As I said, if you give out too many uh, loans without following the due process, that's how the NPAs start rising again. Now let's come to the reasons, core reasons as given under financial stability report of RBI about the falling NPAs in India. The first one is gross NPAs and net NPAs. Both of them are falling. So here is a list here is a diagram which shows very clearly that the gross NPA ratio of scheduled commercial banks is down to 3.9%, which is an all-time low, and net NPA ratio is also down to 1%. What are the major reasons behind this? This, in spite of a lot of interconnected reasons, I will just go through the basic reasons. Number one, active provisioning, and number two, deep provisioning. Active provisioning means provisioning measures to provision for potential NPAs. You're uh, proactively trying to figure out what are the loans that can become NPAs in the future, and you're in the present moment provisioning for them so that when they do become NPAs, then you already have a lot of provisions to take care of them, and your bank's balance sheet as well as your bank's profitability is not affected. Deep provisioning, which means thorough provisioning to cover potential losses. So you're not only actively provisioning for the potential loans turning into NPAs, but at the same time, you're also deeply provisioning for them. Not only provisioning 5%, 10%, but deeply provisioning for them, uh, depending upon the intensity of the expected loss, or what kind of NPA one loan can become. So these are the major reasons behind the gross and net NPAs falling, because at the time of Dr. Raghuram Rajan's stint as the governor of RBI, we followed active as well as deep provisioning very aggressively, and that is paying off the banking system today. The second major reason is provisioning coverage ratio, which is improving. This follows from the first point that I said, where I talked about active as well as these deep provisioning. As you can see here, the provisioning coverage ratio in all scheduled commercial banks has risen from somewhere around 64-65% to 74%, which is a very, very high number, and it certainly has contributed towards falling NPAs. Number three, quarterly slippage ratio. The quarterly slippage ratio is declining. What do you mean by quarterly or quarterly? We all know what is the slippage ratio. The ratio of new accretions of NPAs to NPAs as a share of advanced standard advances. So whatever new loans you're giving, how many of those new loans are converting into NPAs? That is called as slippage ratio. How many of the new people that are coming on board are slipping? Let's say you are in a boat and a lot of new people are bouncing on to the boat, but some of them do slip when they're trying to onboard the boat. How many of the people who are onboarding the boat are slipping? That would be slippage ratio. As you can see, the quarterly slippage ratio has been going down for all kinds of banks, including public sector banks, and it is almost at 0.3%, an all time low again. So, this quarterly slippage ratio shows us that the quality of the new loans or advances that have been given are of a good quality. That automatically means the slippage ratio is low. Write-offs are declining. We wrote off a lot of loans during the time of COVID as well as after COVID, but now the write-offs are declining. As you can see here, there are two types of write-offs: technical write-off and complete write-off. Freeing provisions to raise new loans while trying to recover the existing ones is called as technical write-off, where you do not remove a loan completely from your balance sheet, but you try to recover the existing loan. And in a completely write-off, you just forget about the uh, write-off completely. You just forget about the loan completely, and you erase them from the balance sheet and forget about them and move on. So this is about write-off. Sectoral asset quality. So sectoral asset quality, the ratio is declining, which means the GNPA ratio, non-performing asset ratio, to sectoral, the assets that are advances that are given to various sectors, that is falling, which means that the non-performing assets in all the sectors, all the major sectors, has been falling, which is a good trend. It is a potential of measure of potential defaults across major sectors, declining stressed advances ratio across all major sectors that we can see. At the same time, we can also see that the GNPA ratio of personal loans has also been falling, but there is an outlier. The credit card receivables, as you can see here, the second one from the left, the credit card receivables, gross non-performing asset has been increasing. Therefore, if you are involved in credit card department, you better not give credit cards in the future without following the due process, because the NPA ratio in personal loans under credit card category has been on a rise. Credit quality of large borrowers. Now, 75% of the borrowing is done by large borrowers in India through the banking system. That ratio has been following. Number one, it is down to 54%. But at the same time, the credit quality of large borrowers has also been improving. This is visible in the gross non-performing asset ratio of large borrowers. As you can see here, it is going down regularly. For all scheduled commercial banks, it is down to 4.5%. And this is a very good trend that we see, because majority of non-performing assets come from large borrowers only. The share of large borrowers, as I said, has come down from 75% to 50. 4% approximately, which is also a good trend because these are the borrowers who uh, contribute majorly to non-performing assets, people like Vijay Mallya. And they are the people who have loaned, who have taken loans 100 crore or more, then it becomes the bank's problem instead of being the borrower's problem. Asset quality of top 100 borrowers. As you can see here, the asset quality of top 100 borrowers is also improving. Top 100 borrowers in funded amount outstanding of scheduled commercial banks. As you can see here, the asset quality of top 100 borrowers has improved with a fall in gross non-performing assets. Okay. From 6.8%, it is down to 1.6%. As you can see on the complete right, share in scheduled commercial banks, total NPAs. So, asset quality of top 100 borrowers has improved, which is visible in the falling gross non-performing assets of these borrowers that have borrowed heavily from the bank. The capital adequacy of banking system has also improved, as you can see here very clearly. In public sector banks, it is as high as 15.5%. The Basel III norms only recommend somewhere around 10.5%. So this is very high, and it is a very good trend because this automatically means that we are uh, going to be able to, uh, you know, whenever there is a crisis, we will be in a comfortable position because we would have a lot of capital to take care of those difficult times. At the same time, tier 1 leverage ratio has also improved. Now, tier 1 leverage ratio is a part of capital adequacy ratio. This is the core capital which is accumulated through reserves which comes from profits. When these reserves are capitalized, automatically tier 1 leverage ratio increases. As you can see here, it has been increasing for all scheduled commercial banks. It has gone up to 7.3%, which automatically means that the banks are making more profits and they're transferring those profits not to the government or not to outside entities, not to the shareholders, but they're collecting them and keeping them as reserves, capitalizing these reserves, and that is why the tier 1 leverage ratio is improving. Okay, so these are the major reasons behind the falling NPAs in banks, the technical reasons as given under the financial stability report of RBI. I hope with these reasons now you are more comfortable with answering the question of why NPAs are falling. And tomorrow, if you have a discussion in your bank or if you are talking with your peers as an aspirant, as a student, you would have a better understanding about why the NPAs of banks are falling. For more such videos, do not forget to subscribe to the channel. I'll keep coming back with more such videos wherein a lot of information, a lot of knowledge, a lot of wisdom will be imparted to you guys to help you be a better banker, to help you be better at financials of our country as well as your own finances as well. I'll see you very soon. Till then, take care. Bye bye. Jai Hind.